Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Rabbit here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered ladder replay for you today. I have a PvZ for you on Litmus 1.1. It is Bisu versus Queen. I'm quite looking forward to doing a PvZ on Litmus. I haven't actually done one on this map yet, and I'm curious to understand how the two gases in main impacts this match. So we'll see how that goes. Bisu has been 9 pool. That's a bit unusual. Bisu has been absolutely monstrous in PvZ in particular in recent times, and has therefore probably put himself into contention to being called the best Protoss player in the world again. And it's been quite amazing actually to see the resurgence of Bisu. So when I can find games of his, because he doesn't ladder that much, but when I can find games of his, then I certainly do. And he played against Queen. This was, I think, a December 2025 game that I have for you today. So we have a Forge opening versus a 9 pool. So we will see. I don't really think, because it's a 2-player map, you can do much as a Zerg with a 9 pool. So that's why I thought it was quite an interesting open, because here come, all the lings, but Bisu scouted it, so there comes the cannon, and I imagine he'll just make another cannon, and that'll be that. Or he's gonna not make the cannon yet. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. So 3 sets of lings are being made. We'll keep an eye on those. So yeah, man, it's been good. I've just gotten back. We haven't actually made our hatchery here in the natural. We made it over here. Bisu Scouting Probe would have spotted that there isn't a hatchery here, not necessarily that the one has been made there, but I think he's a smart player. He'll count the number of lings. He isn't making a second cannon. This is very interesting, actually. I'm going to just try and wall this in here with probes. You see, using the attack command to make sure that this probe doesn't move. For those of you who don't know, if you put the attack command on, then the probe will just continue to attack. If you put it on stop, then it can be displaced, or basically the probe will move once it gets hit. This is cool. So we are doing the 9 pool to, I presume, knock this down, although nothing is happening. He's going to try and mineral glitch through here, is he? Ah! Bisu has a sense that this might be what's happening, so it does send the scouting probe. I honestly have no idea how this map works, but I think there's a way to enter the main using this mineral wall, and that's what he's tried to glitch through here. Did manage to glitch 1 ling in here, which is a little inconvenient, and now he's managed to glitch a couple more. Looks like he's going to glitch a whole bunch. So Bisu defended the front door, protecting, expecting some harassment from the 9 pool. And now we can kind of see what Queen's plan was. It didn't make a whole heap of sense to me that he would do a 9 pool in a PvZ on a 2-player map, but now I do understand exactly what he was trying to do. Bisu though does have a Zealot here, a pretty decent SimCity as well, pyloning and cybernetic scoring, so that it isn't too difficult for these lings to get into the mineral line. And still keeping his probing scout, couldn't get my word order right, keeping them alive until now. So just have a decent amount of visibility on whether Zerg would be going Hydras. I think you may well have got a look at the lair based on how far the lair is now in terms of morphing. So you can see that it's a pretty standard transition from Queen. And we are making a Stargate, so all the normal things. And Queen is going to be under a bit of pressure to fend off Corsairs here. The big downside for Zerg when you're trying to do something like this is you've got to do real meaningful damage. If you don't, I don't really see how. Is he sacking this Overlord? Oh no, Queen. Oh no, that was just very sad. Very, very sad. There's no ways he sacked that Overlord on purpose. That was terrible. So 31 probes plays 18 workers. Bisu has now spotted the 3rd with his scouting zealots. The APM of this man is just unreal. He really is. I just saw an Overlord go down. I can only assume that was he got supply block as a result of flying that Overlord in here. Oh, no. The goon chased down the other Overlord. Ha! Mystery solved. Okay. So yeah, first Corsair's on the way, and Spire is still not done. So should be able to get some damage. These Lings have been annoying, and he's definitely killed probably 3 or so probes, but with the Dragoon here, that's going to be the end of that. And yeah, it was certainly an interesting start. Here we go. First bit of harassment. No Scourge on the way yet. He's making drones, he's making a Hydra Den, he's making another set of Scourge. So the harassment from the Corsairs will be short-lived. We'll see if Bisu tries to protect this Corsair by sending him home, or if he continues to harass. And this is where Bisu's big strength in PvZ is. His game sense is unbelievable, knowing when he can attack, when he needs to defend, and flying around with a handful of Corsairs. And he's going to be aggressive, although against Speedlings he shouldn't get too much done here. So he's pulling away. Forcing units, forcing defense out of Queen, instead of Queen just merrily droning up. Big part of why this is so beneficial and such strong play if you are Protoss. So we're making more Corsairs, making another Stargate. Wow, this is a very big commitment to Stargate-ishness from Bisu. So this double Stargate build, not really something I understand all that well. I think another reason why Bisu is such a boss at this match. Getting legs for his Zealots, so it's definitely a Corsair Zealot type strategy. Not engaging yet, being patient, sending down some more Zealots. What sort of gateway count do we have here? 1, 2. So he's got all those Zealots just off of 2 gateways. His macro is unbelievable. Hydra's hit the field though with upgrades. So we could see Bisu now retreating to his house with some cannon protection, which suddenly makes a whole heap of cannons as a knee-jerk reaction to this. And now suddenly he's gone from offensive to defensive. Does have his Corsairs flying around, which does limit Queen's ability to just freely send Hydras away. You can see here 6+1 Corsairs are just going to shred Overlords and the Scourge with a little bit of micro. Oh, that was cool. He got a shot off on one and he managed to pick off the other. And now Speed Zealots are fighting against the Hydras, and the Hydras are running back to help. I don't know if the numbers quite stack up here for Protoss. +1 has come into effect though. They're trading pretty well. And again, picking off Overlords. This is just what I call a smother style. Bisu plays a very smothering style of PvZ, and he's incredibly good at this match. I think you'd find very few people that would argue that he's the best Protoss vs. Zerg player in the world. He absolutely is. Hands down, in my opinion. That's it. I think some good work as well. I think that was why people were surprised that he lost to Soma, but also I heard that the general consensus from the community was it was a bit of a throw. In other words, he probably should have won it, but just a couple of bad decisions, a couple of key moments going against him. But yeah, still just an unbelievable beast at this match. So the Scourge are hunting the Corsairs, and there's lots of them. Ooh, duking, dodging, duking, dodging, duking. Down to 5. Still many more chasing to go. Pulls away just in time. DT on the way. No Overlord here. Oh, there we go. But Overlord pops just in the nick of time. That's very good. Would have seen the mutas too. I think a double stargating Protoss though is going to lick his lips and smile when he sees mutas. It's not going to have any sort of negative effect. He's making so many Corsairs here. Wow. Okay, so I don't know what he's expecting to do with mutas and Scourge, because Bisu has got plenty of Corsairs. In fact, I think this option from Queen really plays into Bisu's build. Another free Overlord. And these Overlords are kind of just scattered about here and being chased down. High Templars also entering the field. Oh dear. Ended up storming his own Corsairs there. It's pretty funny. Taking a third behind this is Bisu. Definitely in a strong position. And this looks quite a scary push. Like, I don't know what Queen's going to have to fend this off. A couple of decent storms here, and I reckon it'll be wrecked. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Corsairs will take care of the mutas. Zealots are getting a lot done. Storms the drone line, and that's gonna be that. A very, very convincing hiding. Bisu and Queen played again on the same day, so I will bring you that as a little part 2 to the series right now. Okay, we're on Knockout 1.1 this time. Bisu is spawned in the top right, and Queen has spawned in the top left. So I've kind of resolved to try and tell stories and share just anything that's kind of on my mind during casts. And it's funny, ever since I have done that, and I think the idea is to have filler when the games are quiet and there's sort of lulls in the action and what's happening, and obviously also the early game where sometimes for the first 3, 4, 5 minutes not much happens. But every time I've done that, I've found myself running into games that have just started at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And ever since I've started casting, since I got back from South Africa, which was first cast I fired up was yesterday, the 17th of January. Today is the 18th, and I'm doing my first game of today. Just found myself in a scenario where there was just stuff to talk about in the game, like this double scout forge opening that we're seeing from Protosses, which is a attempt to punish 12 hatcheries. And yeah, it just leaves you with very little time to tell stories. But nonetheless, I have just gotten back from South Africa, my country of birth, where I've lived for most of my life. I moved to Australia when I was 34 years old, and that's 6 years ago. And in that time, I have achieved Australian citizenship. I recently bought a house, and my family and I are very happy and doing very well here. But I went home to go visit my mother and see my sister and family and friends over Christmas, and it was great. I really did enjoy doing it, and I think there's many things that I can talk about in terms of the experience, but I think the one thing I want to talk about today is every time I went back, I've been back 3 times since I moved. First time was to visit family. Second time was for sad reasons. My dad passed away very suddenly and I needed to go be there for the family. And the third time was now. And the first 2 times that I went back, I found myself, going, I wish I could come back. I wish I could find a way to move back to South Africa. And I would find a way to kind of justify it in my head, find a way to keep the door open to come back to Australia if I ever feel like I need to. And this time was the first time where around about a day or 2 before the plane was about to take off back to Australia, I found myself going, you know what, I really want to come home really look forward to coming home. So Australia for me now, in terms of my mentality, my psychology, is home. And I think I describe this as the psychology of a migrant. So when you have moved from one country to another, it takes you, they do say actually about 7 years for you to accept the fact that you've moved, and the place you've now gone to is home, and the place you have come from is no longer home. It's something else, right? And I don't quite know what that something else is, because home is often a connection to people or significant places from your childhood, stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, I'm happy to be home. I did have a little bit of a debate in my head about restarting casting Broodwar again, and you know, a couple of really nice comments from a lot of people, and you know, just a little bit of rest after I got back from the jet lag, which is freaking murderous. It actually was a very easy decision, and like I said, I think in a previous video, it's not a massive amount of time. It's a way for me to enjoy a game that I really love, and so it's something that I will continue to do. But I certainly am moving into the giving less Fs. And I don't necessarily want to swear now, but giving less Fs about the stuff that doesn't matter. You know, view counts and subscribers and things like that. Like, if you watch the video, that's great. I really like that. If you subscribe or comment, I love that. But it isn't going to change my view on whether or not this is worth doing. We have a little jump on the cannon here from Queen, and sending in a whole little flood of lingies. Then I think he hid away from Bisu, and Bisu is suddenly now under a bit of pressure. This cannon is not going to finish, and could we be in for a sneaky best of 3 here? I don't know. It's not looking good for Bisu at all, is it? Has to pull all of the boys and then some. Queen though is just making a spire behind this, nothing else, so it isn't a full commitment to Lings. It looks like he will stabilize. This Zealot here is just chilling. I think he's probably had a good time of it. Cannon will come up. There is one lonely speedling that has gotten in the house, and he has been dealt with. Corsair is on the way, so Bisu sticking with his Corsair Zealot strategy. I think he plays, well, I said earlier he plays PvZ better than anybody, but he definitely plays the Corsair Zealot build, probably the best out of all players. Still just got this Zealot camped here. So look, we'll focus on the rest of the game for now. I will talk a little bit more about the life of a migrant in some videos to come. Uh-oh. Of course, they better run home. He's gonna have to do some jukin' dukin', man. You're running away from home. You do know this, right? Like, I think you know this. Okay, well, that was the end of that. This guy's still here. They all just like, alright, we're just gonna look at each other. Don't even worry about it, man. It's all good. Couple of scouting scourges over here. Still lings. Not making hydras this game yet. Are we gonna fight now? We are! We've sent some buddies. Reinforcements. Let's go. Should have enough lings here though. Even without this around. Won't trade efficiently, but we'll get the job done. And he does. Seven Corsairs are on the way here. He's going mutas. must say, oh wow, that was just absolute convergence. So the Corsair wrecked all those meters. Just a couple of Scourge left. Do we have any ground units? We have 3 Zealots and a Dream. Still all this here, getting leg speed. I have the feeling that he is going Hydras now, and I think he does need to transition into that pretty swiftly, does Queen. So I do have the feeling that once again there's going to be some sort of timing window that Bisu is going to try and exploit here. Still just operating off of one gateway. Uh-oh. Hydras do the job there. Ending off our 6 Corsairs. Should be enough Hydras to do the same here. Yep. Just have a look. Seems to be committing to this though. No, he's not. He's not. 8 Corsairs now. Free Overlord. And here come our Zealots. So once again it's some variation of Corsair Zealots. Just bringing them all together. Does have the Sunken in the SimCity. I don't think he's going to get too much done. Oh, and there's lots of Hydras here as well. No, BC. No. Should he doesn't have the numbers here. Run! Run! More gateways being added. Templars, Storm, the whole works. Sneaky expansion down here on the right from Bisu. I think that's pretty daring. Does have the cannons on the sort of high ground, which would slow down Queen if he discovers it. Keeps running around with his Zealots. 97 plays 97. Couple more Scourge connecting with Corsair. Uh-oh. This has been discovered, and look at the wave of blue that is going down to knock this base out. Just a massive wave of Hydras. There's no ways he's got enough to fight this. So this base is going to go down, and I think Bisu got a little bit too cute this time. Queen's actually ahead in supply here. I wouldn't be surprised if he just has enough to kill him. Maybe the end of that. Some Hydras chasing a few Zealots here. There are some Storms that can be thrown down. Decides to bail on that. And so Bisu expanding to another third base location, but I think he's going to have a very tough time playing back from here. He's just got himself way behind. Bit of a tangle build, this one. You know what I mean by a tangle? You set yourself up for one way, expecting to do a certain amount of damage. And yeah, Queen just neutralized the 4 save threat really well. And Yeah, I think this is just going to be a very, very scary amount of hiders. Look, and the lurkers too. Makes me wonder, do we have a robo? We do. So we have most of what we need if we are Bisu. Oh, some storms there. I would expect the thing to do is to pressure the third, which is why Bisu has put all his units there. The Queen is gathering up a huge force here. We just zoom out. Look at all the Zerg that's emerging or converging. Try and keep a zoomed out profile on this because the double fight. Some storms to protect the main, some storms to protect the third. Hydra's fighting predominantly against dragoons over here. I think they're gonna have a pretty good time of things. Decent enough storm dodging from Queen here. I think he's broken the initial layer and got lurkers in position. I don't think Bisu's gonna have enough to repel this, and that's gonna be that. So, unfortunately, guys, I don't have a third game, but that being said, when I was doing my seawall research yesterday and my content planning for the next, I'd say, 2-3 months or so, I have found myself very intentionally seeking out best of 3s, best of 5s, and even best of 7s. So I will try and do that more and more. These sort of random, 2-game series. I'll do them a little bit less, and I'll try and focus on series that have a decider and a little bit more jeopardy. So it's definitely a change that I do want to make. So I want to keep bringing the games where we know who the players are, and I also want to try and find little series if I am able to. So let me know if that's something you would be interested in. If you did stay to the end, thanks really very much for watching. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button and subscribe. And I'll be back very soon. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, you take it easy.